Good morning and welcome to Showstar's house. My name is Jackson Perry. Today I have a very special guest. He has been former President Edgar Lungu's political advisor and is currently the Tonse Alliance Secretary General. And of course, you might be asking which Tonse Alliance, because obviously there's a faction or two going on in the country, but of course we'll be able to talk more as we go on. And of course his name is Chris ZUMANI Zimba, or Dr. Chris ZUMANI Zimba. Mr. Zimba, thank you so much for making time for us today.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be on this platform, and I look forward for this conversation.
Thank you very much. I was very thrilled when I got in touch with you, and you're like, yeah, you know, let's do this. You didn't give me any difficulty.
Yeah, no. No, it's also a pleasure for us to be on such platforms because it helps us to communicate information.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's dive straight into it, Dr. Zimba. The Tonse Alliance recently held an elective conference, which has been dismissed by the Given Luinda-led faction. A question for you is, between the two factions that have emerged, which one is the legitimate Tonse Alliance? Okay,
thank you. So the legitimate Tonse Alliance is the Tonse Alliance that has got the governance documents. Tonse Alliance is not a street alliance. It is not a briefcase alliance. It is not governed by verbal agreements. It's governed by its own governing document. So we do have a constitution as an alliance. So if you look at the two groups, it's only our group that has got the constitution. So I'll give you these two documents.
Yes, please.
This is a personal document. Mm-hmm. It is the constitution of the
Tonse Alliance.
It's even signed by myself.
Thank you.
There's even a date. 7 November
2024.
That's when it was launched. Mm-hmm. So this is a personal copy. Mm-hmm. This is the amended constitution. 2026 amended constitution of the Tonse Alliance.
2026 amended constitution of the Tonse Alliance.
Correct. Meaning we have amended the old one. So now we are currently using this one.
Also, that one was the first one when it was launched?
Yes.
And now this one has been amended?
That's the one we are using currently, this one. So between the two groups, we are the only ones that have got these governance documents, and we are the only ones that conduct business based on this in these constitutions. They run a street political gang, if I was to call it.
A street political gang?
Yes. For themselves, they only gather, they combine some members of PF, they get some people who they claim that they are NGOs and they are pressure groups, then they meet together and they call themselves Tonse Alliance. If you ask them, what is your governing document? Even the Republic of Zambia have got a constitution that governs us. They don't have one. They will tell you that they are governed by the 14 rules of the PF MOU. So if they are governed by the 14 rules of the PF MOU, how can they be a Tonse Alliance? At the same time, they also claim that they are governed by the PF Constitution. The PF party, which is with Chavinga, they still use it as a reference document, as well as what they are calling the 14 rules of the PF MOU, Memorandum of Understanding with Alliance Partners. That's a document they generated as PF in 2023. And they shared with UCA, they shared with People's Pact, and they shared with Tonse Alliance, ourselves. So in 2023, PF came to join Tonse Alliance. Professor Dan Pule was already the acting chairman. Because when ECO agreed that we come to Tonse Alliance, he deployed 3 people ahead. Mm-hmm. Professor Dan Pule, he deployed him to be his caretaker chairman.
Caretaker chairman?
Correct. In 2023, in July, ECA only became the Tonse Alliance chairman on 7th of November. The date I just showed you.
Yes.
But between, let me say, August and September, we were already running Tonse Alliance, and PF was not a member. I was already the lead consultant and national coordinator.
For the Tonse Alliance?
For the Tonse Alliance, because I was the initiator with Sean Tembo. Sean Tembo was already the spokesperson of Tonse Alliance. Professor Pule was the caretaker chairman waiting for ECO to join.
Tell me something. The Tonse Alliance was initiated by you and Sean Tembo?
Correct. Okay. So okay. It is a political initiative of myself and Sean Tembo, the two of us. When we finalized the constitution, and the logos. Sean Tembo worked more on the logos. I worked more on the governing document, the constitution. That's when we went to present it to President Lungu. President Lungu never thought of Tonse Alliance. He never even instructed me as his political advisor because I've heard people lying. It was our initiative with Sean Tembo. After Sean Tembo discussed with Professor Pule that we need to give something decent. We need to create an alliance that will respect ECO because UKA continued to disrespect the former president. And Sean Tembo called me and we sat. He explained the challenges ECO faced in UKA and I agreed with it. And he asked me questions if I could come up with something. And here we are today. That's how Tonse Alliance was born. Even the name, even the constitution, even the logos were designed between me and Sean Tembo, the two of us. And then went to present to President Lungu and convinced him. We went to present. Sean Tembo deployed me. Said, look, you are the political advisor to ECO. Go and convince him and explain to him. And when he agreed, I brought Sean Tembo on board. And President Lungu brought Professor Pule and also Madam Edith Nawakwe. So there were only 5 people at the center forming Tonse Alliance. Had Professor Pule refused, Sean Tembo refused, and Madam Edith Nawakwe, ECA wouldn't have agreed to join Tonse Alliance. It was the condition he had given me. I need these 3 because I don't want to break UKA. I'll be blamed as a former president if I walked out. So, but if these 3 join Tonse Alliance ahead of me or 2 of them, I'm good to go.
I'm good to go to join.
So Professor Pule he's the founding acting chairman of Tonse Alliance for 3 months before ECO joined. Sean Tembo was already the spokesperson of the alliance. And I was already the lead consultant national coordinator. So today to see some people masquerading on the street that they are Tonse Alliance, I find it shocking and shameful, especially that these are senior adults. They don't even know the background of Tonse. They don't even know the definition of Tonse. They don't even know when Tonse was formed and how and by how many people. Even if you ask them, they don't know.
Wasn't there a time when you worked together with Given Winda in Tonse?
Yes. When President Lungu, a month before we joined, he reached out he asked me to bring on board his SG, Nakachinda, Rafael Nakachinda.
Yes.
And the assignment he gave me was very simple. Don't engage PF as a team. So there was no Professor Luo, there was no Madam Jean Kapata, there was no a lot of these MCCs in PF because they still believe so much in the issue of fighting for PF before the court.
So what instructions did ECO give you in terms of bringing some people?
It's supposed to be phased, supposed to be gradual. ECO joined Tonse Alliance under the ECO PF movement. That's a document, that's a name we have in the constitution. I can even show you.
Yeah, please show it to me.
If we go to article, for the old constitution, the original constitution, ECO left with us.
Yes.
We need to start from there. Yes. If you go to article 11, 11.1.
Yes.
You can read it for me.
Or maybe let me be able to read it so that it's very neutral. So 11.1. 11 says the 2026 presidential candidate and proceedings of the General Congress.
Correct.
1 says, given that it is resolved and agreed that the 2026 presidential candidate shall come from the ECL Patriotic Front PF political movement, Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu shall immediately assume the position of chairperson of the alliance as well as a candidate after accepting his candidacy adoption at the official launch of the alliance to the exclusion of the General Congress, since Tonse is a moving electoral pact.
So, which organization is mentioned in that document, the original document? Is it the PF party or the ECL?
The ECL Patriotic Front PF political movement.
Correct.
What is the difference between PF and the ECL political movement? What's
Thank
the
you.
difference?
What we have done is not to leave things by chance. We have clarified and defined every concept and every terminology. In the amended constitution here, which I have.
Yes.
The ECL movement has clearly been defined because there are some people who are saying that it's not clear. We don't know the meaning of the ECL PF movement. You are a neutral person. Just paragraph 3 on the preamble.
Paragraph 3, this one?
Yes.
Confirming and approving that the ECL PF movement is a non-registered political pressure group initiated by Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu in 2024 to mirror of all former and current PF ministers, PSs, MPs, DCs, diplomats, council chairpersons, mayors, councillors, party officials, members, and structures countrywide loyal to ECL himself as former president and his legacy outside the former party aligned leadership in court with Robert Chavinga.
Correct.
Hence, the ECL-PF political movement is the partner and member of the Tonse Alliance and not the PF party.
Thank you. So we have differentiated here. The ECL-PF movement is an unregistered political pressure group of members of the PF, be it councillors, MPs, council chairpersons, mayors, including former PSAs, former cabinet ministers, DCs, name it, or diplomats, countrywide, loyal to ECL himself and the ECL legacy. Outside the PF party. Outside the PF party.
Outside the PF
yes,
party.
because the PF party is a registered organization with a registrar.
Yes.
Currently it's in the hands of Robert Chavinga.
Yes.
So the Tonse Alliance governing documents define the ECL-PF movement clearly.
So tell me, Doc, with this confusion and bickering, who has the party, who are the bona fide members, which one is the Tonse Alliance, don't you think which one is the legitimate Tonse Alliance? Don't you think all this is confusing the voter out there, the voters?
Yeah, the point
only
is
6 months.
The point
the
is that the people have shown political desperation to begin to imitate us as Tonse Alliance, so-called, that political gang, is becoming a political spoiler. We are the defenders of the ECL legacy because ECL left Tonse Alliance in our hands. ECL created Tonse Alliance with us. ECL owned Tonse Alliance with us. So we own Tonse Alliance. We have a stake in Tonse Alliance. They don't have. They have no stake. They have zero stake in Tonse Alliance because if you ask Professor Pule, Professor Luo today,
yes,
if you ask Emmanuel Mwamba or Mukandila or Madam Jean Kapat, they don't know Tonse Alliance. They have never been part of Tonse Alliance in terms of during its formation. They were not on the table when we were forming Tonse Alliance. These are the people ECL never even demanded to be in the inner circle when we were forming Tonse Alliance. Not even Honorable Given Lubinda. Honorable Given Lubinda had no position in Tonse Alliance, by the way.
ECL did not even ask for you to bring Honorable
No. The person who was entrusted to mobilize the PF people gradually, phase by phase, is Raphael Nakachinda. It is Raphael Nakachinda who came to ECL's house in Chifwema, where I was presenting Tonse Alliance as a project and as an alliance concept. I presented it to Honorable Raphael Nakachinda, the SG of the PF, President Lungu himself. I think Nakachinda came on the fourth meeting. Professor Pule, Sean Tembo, and that's the day Peter Chanda and Rit Musoma joined. So they joined at the point when he wanted to integrate the PF. After ECL and Professor Dan Pule, Sean Tembo, myself, and Edith Nawak, we had already agreed. We already had the governing document, the constitution, and everything. That's when ECL instructed me to bring on board SG Nakachinda.
So what do you think, given Luminda and team are insisting that they are also a Tonse Alliance?
No. What happened is that ECL was bringing them gradually. Mm-hmm. So by the time he left, before he even left, even during the Tonse Alliance Council of Leaders meeting, he used to come there with SG Nakachinda and Honorable Lubinda as his acting, as his vice president from the PF.
From the PF, yes.
And the objective was to gradually give him a role in Tonse under the ECL-PF movement. Eventually,
under
yes.
the PF movement.
Correct.
Not under the PF political
Not under PF political
I can
party.
see they're defined in both.
Correct.
Documents.
But Honorable Rubinda is ignorant because we never shared those issues with him between me and ECL. Not even SG Nakachinda. Because at some point ECL didn't want them to know too much. Because they still believed in the PF party. So they could come, according to them, they are coming to Tonse Alliance as PF. But the document they signed, because this document was signed by SG Nakachinda, was not bearing PF party. It was bearing ECL-PF movement. And we gave them this document. I shared it 2 weeks before the launch for everyone to read. At some point, I'm told the SG Nakachinda even regretted that, no, I think we signed without reading. Zimba and ECL Jupiters who went there as PF, but they made us sign a document showing
PF movement.
Correct. To the extent that, let me show you something on the old constitution. So I want you to know something in terms of these issues that
Yes,
we are not masquerading. Our friends are masquerading. Our friends are acting political comedy, and our friends are not even. We don't even take them serious, by the way. So check on this appendix. Appendix number 2. Read the title and the point number 1.
Appendix number 2. This one.
The title on the top. Yes.
Okay. Political parties.
The main one.
Okay. Current composition of the General Congress based on Appendix 1 matrix.
Correct. So what's the name of the political party number 1?
Political party number 1 is ECL Patriotic Front Political Movement.
Thank you. And that's what they signed for. And that's where SG Nakachinda signed.
Not the
PF party.
Not the political party.
So what happened this year is that in January, there was a question of who is a member of the Tonse Alliance. A petition reached the Council of Leaders, initiated by civil society organizations within Tonse. Are we entertaining the ECL PF movement or the PF party? Who is our member? So NGOs petitioned the Council of Leaders. We had the Council of Leaders meeting this year in January, and that issue came on the table. So we needed to answer it. Collectively and unanimously, it was resolved that the ECO-PF movement should remain the member of the Tonse Alliance and not the PF party, because ECO never came to Tonse with the PF party.
So tell me this. I know you might have said this. Why did you opt to have the ECO political movement as opposed to having the PF, the political party?
I hear you. It's a very important question.
Yes.
Very, very important question.
From the beginning. Why did you even think about it?
So, when Mao Sampa and Chavinga politically traded the PF party to the UPND,
yes,
in 2023 in October, ECO failed to be betrayed, ECO failed to dethroned, ECO failed politically insulted and undressed. So ECO lost trust and hope in the PF because he knew it very well that even if they were trying to petition through the court to get it back, he knew that he won't get it back. And he shared to many of us many times. So by the time ECO went to UKA in 2024, if you followed his movements, before Tonse came on the board,
yes,
he didn't go to UKA with PF party. He went there as ECO PF movement. He went there alone with his followers,
knowing very well that he might not get the PF
party. Correct. So ECO was in UKA for a long time. Ask those in UKA. He never entertained the idea of taking PF there as a party because PF was already in the hands of Chavinga and the UPND. He started just poaching and identifying some of his loyalists and bringing them into UKA. And some of us were closely working with him and we could discuss, no, I think Madam Mumbipili should agree to join UKA. Because others were resisting. They never wanted to hear anything to do with UKA. They were even fighting ECO in UKA from PF. But us were supporting him because we knew that we needed an alternative political platform for him. When things failed in UKA, because UKA at some point didn't treat him as a former president, they wanted to treat him as a comrade, they wanted to treat him as an equal, we disagreed with UKA, some of us in the background. And the people like Sean Tembo, Professor Dan Pule, and Madam Edith Nwaku, who agreed with us, and that's how we formed Tonse Alliance. At that point, there was no room again to entertain PF party because ECA was already resolved that PF as a party is gone to UPND through Chavinga and Mao Sampa. So when he was coming to Tonse, he insisted, don't put PF party. We'll be attracting the wrath of Mao Sampa and Chavinga. They'll be nosing and intruding in Tonse Alliance. So he never wanted that interference. He wanted Tonse Alliance to float outside the party politics of fights and legal battles with the Chavingas and Mao Sampas, who were already on the side of the UPND. So he wanted Tonse Alliance free from anything to do with the PF party because it was in court and it was already with the UPND.
Great. Time and again, you've just said that they sort of, I'm going to paraphrase, they sort of gave the party to the UPND, Mao Sampa and Chavinga.
Yes.
What proof do we have that this party was given to the UPND?
Okay, thank you. So if you look at what has happened over this period of time, you discover that the party, the PF party right now, is in a formal alliance with the UPND. Formal alliance with the UPND. Chavinga has even endorsed President HH for 2026. But Chavinga, as we stand today, is the person who is the PF president on paper, legally. So that PF party, we have proof that it is in political marriage with the UPND. If you look at the MPs aligned to Chavinga, from the PF MPs aligned to Chavinga, they are all working close with the UPND government. And even in traditional ceremonies, if you go to Eastern Province, look at Chipangari Member of Parliament,
Yes.
Lubusha, they have consistently endorsed who? President HH and praised him, even when ECA was alive. So we know that the PF party of Robert Chavinga today, this PF party which went to which dethroned ECL through Mao Samba, is not in anyone's hands outside in terms of alliances. They are working with the UPND because it's on paper and it's official.
Speaking of Mao Samba, he was on TV a while ago. He called you a chap that made us lose the elections.
Yeah.
With his boardroom theories. Do you take blame for the loss of the general election in
No,
not
at all. Not at all. Collectively, I take blame because we lost a collective as a team. We lost as a State House. We lost as PF as a party. The members of Central Committee take blame. The MPs, different places, take blame. The structures of the party in some places, provincial, district, constituency, ward, branch, take blame. So it was a collective loss. According
to that statement, do you think you personally had a part to play in leading the PF down?
I had a part to play in helping ECL get 1.8 million. Had I not been brought on board, ECL and the PF wouldn't have even crossed 1 million votes. I'm telling you factually, and I mean it.
Really?
I understand what transpired. Had I not been brought on board, PF and ECL wouldn't have gotten even above 1 million votes. I'll tell you something.
Are you in a position to share with us?
Yes, I'll tell you something. This is a position that I've not shared many times because there's no need. ECL himself knew it. And that's why ECL himself kept me close. Even when he lost, I was very close to him until the time he died. There is nobody politically who was closer to ECL apart from myself for 6 years. From 2019 December when he appointed me to the time he died last year, June. There was nobody who was closer to him. I met him officially to discuss politics, plan together, even when he lost. Even this Tonse Alliance, even UKA, I was the closest ally and partner or political partner of ECL for both the UKA project and the Tonse Alliance project. Had I been the person to blame for 2021 loss, ECL would have discarded me. But ECL knew the truth. That's why, despite people blaming me, throwing mud at me, he ignored them. And I was his closest political ally until death. So they don't understand. They speak out of ignorance, I know many times, but above all, people like Sampa, they speak out of malice and political impunity. It doesn't affect me. I'm not even offended. It's the nature of the game in politics sometimes. He's politically suffocated because I think he's haunted for trading the PF to the UPND, and that he came back to reconcile with ECL and PF. He never brought back PF. He only came with empty fingers. So PF today is in political tantrums and doldrums. PF today will not appear on the ballot. ECL died as a dethroned PF president because of Mao Sampa. So those issues still haunt him. PF today doesn't even know his position in 2026 August general elections because of Mao Sampa. So even if he reconciled with ECL and all of us on the side of ECL and PF, the consequences of his actions in 2023 in October are still with us today. Even if he is with us and we're forgiven him as a brother, the consequences, I can emphasize, they are still with us today, the negative consequences. So I think he's haunted. I think he regrets. I think he feels bad about it. So he always wants to point fingers at other people. I'm not one of the people to blame. I'm one of the people to respect because I brought honor and dignity to ECL. ECL died as the chairman of the Tonse Alliance and the candidate of the Tonse Alliance. I gave that political platform to ECL after Mao Sampa sold PF to the UPND politically. ECL died leaving a political organization behind called Tonse Alliance. He didn't leave PF because PF is in the hands of Chavinga. So I brought honor and respect politically to ECL and to his legacy. Mao Sampa took honor from ECL. Mao Sampa addressed ECL politically. Mao Sampa dethroned ECL politically in 2023 in October. So I know that he's remorseful. I know that he regrets, but he shouldn't point at anybody. He's our brother. We can work with him. We don't have problems. but he should humble himself. He doesn't need to elevate himself as a king. He needs to present himself as a servant in the PF circles because of his actions and what he did.
I follow. Also, still on Mao Sampa, he mentioned that you brought a strategy for pairing independents with
he's lying.
Independent MPs and PF MPs, and because of that, eventually you gave the presidency to HH.
No.
Is there any truth in that?
He's lying. I was one of the strong persons who opposed that strategy.
So Mao
The
Sampa
people,
so
he's
Mao-
lying. He was never State House. I worked with ECL. The close friends of ECL, they will know that if there's a person who opposed independent candidates, it's Zimba. Mao Sampa was never at State House, so he's lying. Those who are at State House and those who are close friends of ECL, they will know that he's lying because I was the opponent who disagreed with that strategy. I want to say something.
Before you say what you're
Yes.
saying, you were the president's political advisor.
Yes, correct. I worked with him on a daily basis.
And you advised the president against that strategy.
Correct.
But that strategy still went through.
Correct.
How did that? Did the president say, "We're not
So
going
I'll
with
tell you
your idea
something.
as my political advisor. I'm still going to go with this idea"?
He didn't need to tell me that. The way the president works is this. You see, the PF has always been chaotic as an organization. So there are times when you work with the president on this initiative or strategy, but other players within PF are already implementing their own. So I don't think that when it comes to the political identification of candidates, ECO had absolute control because there were many other players that played their roles that even went against the position of ECO within the party. In terms of candidature, there were other players, other funders, individuals within cabinet and outside cabinet who are sponsoring their own candidates before adoption. People are on the ground to the point that in some constituencies we had 7, in some constituencies 3, some constituencies 5, some constituencies 4 strong PF candidates.
Very strong on the ground.
Yes, well sponsored, either on their own or they are being sponsored by some cabinet ministers or they are being sponsored by some funders or businessmen. Outside this year, that's how PF operated. So when the adoptions were done, I can assure you, there are some candidates who had made up their mind that I'll still go independent because I have resources. I'll still go independent because I've got my own sponsors outside PF as a party. So even ECL will be blamed for nothing or be blamed out of ignorance because certain things were beyond him. Where ECL was standing in 2021, that's where ECL HH is standing today. In some constituencies within UPND, there are 3 or 4 candidates campaigning. Some have been campaigning against sitting cabinet ministers. I can assure you what will happen after adoption in March, in May, even in some UPND strongholds. There are some independent candidates that will still proceed even if they're not adopted because they've already done their groundwork and they have resources. That's the nature of a ruling party. Now, that can't be said it was my strategy. I found it, I opposed it, but we couldn't kill it. You couldn't stop people who had already done their homework and who had their own resources. So, it's a lie. The close allies and friends of ECO, because we used to meet at sometimes at State House. These discussions will come, and I would oppose.
When you say Mao Sampa was never at State House, what was the reason why he was not never, but he was
not close.
He wasn't close to the
Yes,
president.
he was not in the bedroom of the ECO political circles. He was in the kitchen. So he didn't know what was happening. He's just speculating and throwing gossip.
Why was he in the kitchen? Why was he not near?
That's a discretion and decision of ECL. There are a lot of people that he treated that way. They were PF, but they were never close to him. But you need to know that before I went to State House, there was an episode where Mao Sampa competed with ECL in 2015. And when ECL won as PF president, Mao Sampa never supported ECL in 2015. Mao Sampa went to the UPND. I'm thinking he must have formed his own political party. It was after some time that he came back to PF. So his political somersaults against ECL are not new. It is not an episode that ECL encountered in 2023 in October when he had that illegal convention, whatever political event he had. It was a repetition, and for ECL, it was double betrayal. Because it's like he had embraced a person who at some point had politically also injured him and denounced him. So I don't think he's the right person to even talk about ECL. To me, even offends the spirit of ECL even in death. is supposed to be apologizing and supposed to be humble because it did more harm to ECL, both in 2015 as well as in 2023.
I follow you. We are streaming live from Streamside Resort in Lusaka West. And of course, there are numbers on the screen that you can use to get in touch with us. And if you have any comment or contribution, Dr. Chris ZUMANI Zimba is actually here to have a conversation with you. Wherever you are watching us from, you're free to use those numbers. We'll be able to let you to come live and have a conversation with us. Doc, the Tonse Alliance led by Honorable Brian Munduvile, how does it intend to come out of the confusion and just
we are already out of the confusion.
Stand out.
We are already out of the confusion. Already we are out of the confusion, and we are the only Tonse Alliance. There's no another Tonse Alliance. People must be honest. Political honesty, political integrity, and political consistency demands that you follow facts as they are. A creature is never powerful than its creator. The people that join Tonse Alliance from the PF at any stage, they can never be Tonse than me and Sean Tembo or Professor Dan Paul. We are the creators of Tonse Alliance. They became our creatures because they joined.
So tell me something. Not so long ago, we saw an FDD candidate win in Chawama, and they were clearly supported by I could see clearly, I could see Mao Sampa, Given Luinda, as well as Chimba Kambwili. I could see that.
Yes.
I didn't see Mundu Video or anybody else. And they won Chawama.
Yes.
In Kasama, we saw FDD almost, they came second.
Yes.
And
there was the Munduvire side in Kasama.
It was the Munduvire side.
The other side was not there.
Yes. So now, at what point are we seeing which Tonse Alliance to follow? Because obviously, you're also riding on FDD.
Correct. So
especially when we go into the general election.
So the people you saw in Chawama campaigning with our candidate, our Tonse candidate on the FDD ticket.
Yes.
Those people never even wanted that FDD ticket in Chawama. Really? Mo Sampa. Yes, I know, because I sit in Tonse Alliance throughout, in the Council of Leaders at every stage.
Which they wanted
SP, Socialist Party. In the Council of Leaders, Honorable Rubinda presented that we go to Chawama on an independent ticket. He never wanted any organization. And we said, with Professor Pule, myself and the others like KBF and other council, we said, look, that's embarrassing to the alliance. We have got out of political parties. How do you recommend that we go independent? You are killing the alliance. There is no honor. There is no honesty in your recommendation. It is us who adopted.
I'm asking that you get the headsets from.
Okay, thank you.
From the producer. He says there's a caller. Hi there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. You would like to know your name? Would like to know your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is Anthony Nense. I'm calling you from Dola, the Copper Belt.
Okay, you may go on.
Okay, cool. Good morning, Dr. Zuman.
Good morning, thank you. Good morning, thank you.
All right. This is Anthony Nense. I was contesting MP in Chipiri in 2021 on the same PF ticket, but I think the former Secretary General sidelined me. He decided to pick on the current MP now, Mr. Chela Kanshan, that despite I'd done the groundwork and I displaced the independent MP who was there, Jewis Chavi. Dr. Zumani, you remember when you came to Chipidi with former President ECL, you and I exchanged notes at Mwenda Ground.
Yes, I remember very well.
You remember very well. Thank you, and I'm grateful. Now, I want to say that what he is saying concerning the adoption process is very true. Very true. The PF was very chaotic. Yeah, the PF was very chaotic. I think the democratic processes were not really adhered to, because there were people, I think, who had more powers than maybe the president. Now, going forward, I would like to find out from you, Dr. Zuma, what is the realistic strategy for you to form government? I know you cannot discuss it on public, but clearly, do we have a plan to share the strategy to the players? Because I watched Mao Sampa, And he said you implemented that strategy. And was that strategy told to the players? You cannot say if we sideline people and they go there as independent candidates, then they will automatically support the president, and then also those who will be adopted will also support the president. But without informing the players, without informing the sidelines, the independent candidates, that it is a strategy.
That was not there. Let us conclude, sir.
Okay, so in conclusion, Dr. Zuma, do we have a realistic strategy now? Do we have a realistic strategy now that you intend to employ for you to form government in the next few months?
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe you can respond to a caller?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm happy that with somebody that has validated my position that Honorable Mosamba is lying. The chaotic nature in many places of the PAF adoption process was a PF problem. It was not a political advisor problem. The fact that we had powerful players within the PAF that had done their homework in different places at parliamentary level as candidates, and when they were not adopted, they went on to contest on their own. It's not my problem. And it was never our strategy at State House, by the way. There were also friends of ECL who funded their own political candidates outside ECL. There were also some former cabinet ministers who had wanted to have their own MPs to control them, and they financed them. And those are the ones who went independent. And in some cases, they emerged winners. It was never a strategy of State House. It was never a strategy of ECL. So I'm happy that somebody has validated my position that the so-called purported blame, the one or two guys out of malice want to throw on me, is malicious and based on impunity and is false. Coming to the question, how do we intend to position ourselves to win 2026 August elections? We do have a presidential candidate, a competent, experienced, a leader with a statement structure and posture, Honorable Brian Mundubile. So we are the only platform politically right now that has got a duly elected presidential candidate. And our candidate has experience at running government at cabinet level. He was the provincial minister for Northern Province. Our candidate has been at parliament for many years as a leader of the opposition in cabinet, at parliament. Our candidate has a vision because he is not an accidental candidate who has come on the scene based on one or two events. He has been on the ground campaigning as a presidential candidate for the PF since 2022. So he has a vision and he has a passion to serve the Zambian peoples. Number 3 is that Honorable Brian Mundubile has already assembled a technical team of experts, personnel, to draft the Tonse Manifesto. So as Tonse Manifesto, this draft document is coming to the Council of Leaders end of this month, or latest first week of March. We are going to panel beat it, we are going to review it, we are going to finalize. It is that manifesto that will have specific tailor-made messages, honest messages to our farmers, our miners, our youths, our women, our marketeers, our businessmen and women across Zambia, different sectors, the education sector, the health sector, the energy sector, name it. We have a clear manifesto as Tonse Alliance under President Brian Mundubile, and we'll be launching it next month. That's a tool we believe we're going to use to engage the Zambian voters and to convince them to dance for Brian Mundubile and vote for Tonse Alliance. But last, before I forget, much of the work has already been done by the UPND and President HHH. They have already campaigned themselves. They have failed terribly in many sectors to deliver what they promised. So 60% of the campaign work has been done by the UPND and President HH due to their failure rate, which is very high.
What are some of the greatest failures when we talk about the UPND?
Okay, thank you. It's the economy. Bali came on the table to win 2021 on the promissory note of Bali will fix it. So he promised to fix that the price of commodities will reduce significantly when he becomes president. He was moving with cooking oil in sachets of plastics to show that when I become president, this will come to an end. You start be buying 2 liters, 1 liters, 5 liters of cooking oil because it will be very cheap on the market. He was moving with the Pamela mealie meal in plastic bag to decampaign it. That this is what you're going through under PF and ECL. When I come, Bali will fix it. The price of mealie meal will reduce from 90 kwacha or 120 kwacha to 50 kwacha or below. That's what he promised, and that he has failed. Bali promised that when I become president, the price of fuel oil will reduce from 17 kwacha per liter to a single digit, meaning 9 kwacha, 8 kwacha, or even 7 kwacha. He was everywhere. He could even stand on filling station checking the price of fuel oil.
Oh, yeah.
He has pathetically failed to deliver that. The price of fuel today is double what he promised. If you talk about the farmers, he promised paradise for them across the country. He told them that the FISI program you are getting from ECL and PF, I'll double it. You'll be getting more bags of fertilizer, 6, 4, even 8. These were promises he was making. And the Zambian people across the country, the farmers, voted for him because they wanted that political paradise in the agriculture sector. Today, we have seen for the past few years, in some places, they were sharing, buckets of fertilizer, farmers, 1 bag being shared among farmers. It's a pathetic failure. It is against what he promised. He has never fixed the agriculture sector. It has become even a disaster as we speak. Historically, it is for the first time that I learned that come December, November, even January, the farmers, some farmers were not yet paid by FRA under the Bali government. That's against what he promised. So you see, the failure rate is very visible in many places. Based on what he promised, it has not been attained.
Producer says there's a caller. So if we can talk to someone there. Hi there, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Showstar.
Good morning, thank you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Mr. Kawat Kennedy from Milenge District. Good morning, Dr. Zumani.
Good morning, Mr. And how is Milenge?
Milenge is great, and as you know, the structures are well intact and well looked after. Together with Honorable Chonde, you know that we are together despite him being an independent MP. Yes. But his blood is clean. So wherever Tonse goes or Brad Mundwele goes, we also go.
Thank you. Thank you.
My question is directed to Dr. Chris Zumani. Just like my brother from Chipiri has alluded to, we had a lot of issues regards to adoption process.
Yes.
Especially in Milenge, we are given the MP candidate who wasn't even popular on the ground, whom even me, as a council chairperson, I actually had more votes than him. My question goes like this. What measures are you putting in place that only candidates that are popular on the ground are adopted, as opposed to those with money? What is your strategy? Because like for us who are aspiring, especially the people of Milenge, they're actually waiting for Tonse Alliance under Brian Mundwele to give us the way forward. What measures are you putting in place that only people that are actually popular on the ground are adopted? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Doc, before you pick up that question, let's see if we can pick 2 more calls. And then maybe we can answer them back to back. There are numbers on the screen that you can use to give us a call. Please give us that call, and of course be as quick as you can. I'm sure under 2 minutes you would have shared your contribution or comment, and Doc will be able to respond to you. Well, we're having... Hello? Okay, we'll be able to... maybe you can respond to that one.
Thank you. It's a very important question. You know, President Mundwele has repeatedly said that we need to do things better and different from where we went wrong in 2021. To start with, we have a presidential candidate in BM who is very consultative and he respects stakeholders at all levels. So we are already engaging with the church, with traditional leaders in all the constituencies. We are also already engaging with the structures of PF, ECO, PF Movement Now, FDD, and other Tonse Alliance players that have got structures at district and constituency level. So I believe that through those consultative processes of traditional leaders, the church, structures, and members of the alliance, we'll be able to emerge victorious and harmonious in 2026 in terms of adoptions. We have also curtailed the politics of the big boys, because PF are the politics of the big boys, as you have heard from the callers, where those with money, they went to crush popular candidates who didn't have money and impose themselves. And I've been made to believe that in some places, some people bought adoption certificates. Under Tonse Alliance, under President BM, that won't happen. Remember, he's a parliamentarian, a seasonal parliamentarian. So he knows the process of adoption better. And he understands the challenges, where we have gone wrong and where we missed it in the past, better than many players. So he has promised to do things better. And many people will not complain this time around.
I beg your education on something that you've mentioned. You say that in the PF, you believe that some people bought those adoption certificates. In my mind, as an ordinary Zambian, I am thinking at your level back in PF, where you are the presidential advisor.
Yes.
You and former President ECL have the OP at your feet. So they tell you, kuchawama kuja, alipopira ni Rogers. But at what point does a Jackson Piri come to buy the adoption certificate? When you and the president at the very top have the information.
Yeah, the way it works is that, remember that we said there were many players competing before adoption. So others had money, others didn't have money. So there were cases like the Milengi case, someone is citing from the callers, where the guys with money prevailed, but maybe they're not popular. So the buying could have been done quietly and covertly.
How does the president and you let a guy with money who's not popular prevail, as opposed to a guy who's very popular on the ground? Because obviously you going with a guy who's popular on the ground is favoring you.
So the way it works is this. Before somebody's adopted, there's a report presented before Central Committee. That report can be doctored.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Popularity can be faked. Popularity can be staged. Popularity can be distorted. Even within the PF today, there are some presidential candidates who are staging popularity. But you can tell, at my level, I'm able to tell that is staged popularity. They can't sustain it. It's fake. They've just hired people, or they're just using social media. Real popularity is sustainable. Real popularity cannot be challenged. When you see somebody hitting the nosedive after some 2 weeks or months, just know that at some point, they staged or faked popularity. So that's very common. Not only in PF or in FDD or in UPND. In many political parties where there is the real competition. Because money at some point can play a role. But this time we are saying, in Tonse Alliance, it will not play a role. Because we are led and we know what is on the ground.
Thank you. I want to ask about Honorable Brian Mundubile. You have been a political advisor at the highest level in this country.
Yes.
Do you believe that Honorable Brian Mundubile has got it to get 50+1 votes?
Yes.
In this year's election.
Yes. 100%. I'm sure about it, and I'm certain.
With this confusion in the PF and in the alliance,
the confusion doesn't even matter. You see, there is a fallacy, a falsehood that we need a single candidate as opposition. That's a fallacy. It doesn't work that way in a multi-party system. We are a multi-party system by constitution, meaning we need multiple candidates on the ballot, even at presidential level. So to begin to postulate that you can have a single candidate in the opposition, you are dreaming of an impossibility. Look what happens. Why BM will still win, regardless of the candidates, multiple candidates, is simple. The voters out there, they already know who they don't want to vote for. That's number one. They know, most of them, that they will not vote for a president who has failed to deliver, who promised them paradise. That's initially the filter. Number two, the voters themselves out there, where we are going, they will know who is the presidential candidate with a genuine political popularity, with a genuine campaign manifesto that is convincing to vote to deliver them from this political doldrum of the UPND. And that's where BM will distinguish himself. In Malawi, they had 17 presidential candidates on paper. They competed, but only 2 emerged victorious. So the filter process political is done by the voters. You can't see as a committee of citizens to filter candidates that we just need 2 or 3. It doesn't work like that. We can work about minimizing presidential candidates, maybe from 20 to a single digit. But to say we just want HH to compete with one candidate in the opposition, you are daydreaming. In a multi-party system, it can't work, and it doesn't work anyway.
You have listed a number of things that, according to you, HH and the UPND have failed.
Yes.
Is there 1 or 2 things that you think you can give them kudos?
Yeah, yes. I think that is, though it's difficult. It's difficult. From the word go, I tend to think that the CDF project was supposed to have been their legacy, HH's legacy. That's my belief. It is a good approach in terms of decentralization, in terms of taking development to the people. So when he launched it, I was one of the proponents who endorsed it and kissed it. But I discovered that where I thought it would work, they missed it. It was not anchored on the governance structures. It was not anchored on the competences of the personnel who was supposed to deliver it. Today, the CDF is like a political pocket fund for the sitting MP and his councillors. That's misplaced. My belief was that they would have anchored the CDF under local government. The council was supposed to be the main implementers and the main deciders, not legislators, not MPs, not politicians. That's where abuse has become ripe around the CDF. And that's, to me, that's why they have spoiled what would have been their flag legacy to run with at home. So the CDF, if they had done better, it would have been one of their legacies, because he increased the budget. He was very clear that he wanted the local players, the citizens, to take key ownership and participation. But to surround it with politicians, parliamentarians, I think they spoiled it. Number 2, another legacy of the UPND at HH that we need to objectively say, I think they have tried, though it's not perfect. It's education sector. Look, they have universalized education. They have made it free for everyone. That's commendable. And I think that's important that even as the Tonse Alliance government in August, we will not abandon that, but we perfect it and improve on where it is.
What are some of the things you will do to improve the education sector?
Of course, it's as I indicated, we are still finalizing our manifesto.
Oh, yes.
So as Secretary General, I wouldn't want to throw police positions based on what I'm thinking. I can speak as a political scientist, but that might not be a position of Tonse Alliance. Yes. So I don't want to divulge into details in terms of what to do better until when President BM launches our manifesto, because it's supposed to be him and not me to speak and promise.
Producer says there's a caller. Hi there, good morning. Hi there, good morning.
Good morning, Showstar.
Good morning, thank you. Your name and where you calling
Good
from?
morning. Brian, I'm calling you from within Lusaka.
Within Lusaka. Please go ahead and talk to Dr. Chris ZUMANI Zimba.
Good morning.
Good morning, thank you, Mr. Brian.
Okay, my question to you is, you had a special purpose here in Tonse Alliance by the name of NCP, who later pulled out after you campaigned for them and gave them an MP.
Yes.
What measures are you taking now that whatever purpose vehicle you choose, you will not use the alliance gain members of parliament and councillor only to go out of the alliance, how are you going to ensure that they will keep them on board?
Thank you.
That's my question.
Very important question.
Thank you very much. There are numbers on the screen that you could use to give us a call and talk to Dr. Zumani Zimba. Is actually here to have a conversation with you. Response?
So by next month in March, we'll be having a Council of Leaders meeting specifically to discuss the issue of the special purpose vehicle. As Tonse Alliance, we will ensure that the final special purpose vehicle takes co-ownership between itself and the alliance. So we have put mechanism, and we will put mechanism to ensure that whatever special purpose vehicle we are going to use, as Tonse Alliance, will be co-owners with them and us, so that no decision is made arbitrary or unilaterally by themselves, but they need to consult everyone, including ourselves in Tonse Alliance.
Just to get it clear, which political party is Honorable Brandon Mundi standing on? Is it the FDD?
The special purpose vehicle for August elections will be chosen next month.
Next month.
FDD is our provisional special purpose vehicle, temporal special purpose vehicle for by-elections. For the August 2026 elections, we'll be deciding next month. We may settle for FDD if they agree with the conditions of the alliance, or we may change. So the political door is still open. Or it may be another political party that may join tomorrow. So the door is still open for the final one for August. Because, as I said, FDD is only provisional temporal for by-elections.
Great. Doc, you worked with 6th President Edgar Chagwa as his political advisor that we all know. It has now been 8 months as of 3 days ago, on the 5th.
Yes.
Yeah, 8 months since his death, and his remains are still in the mortuary. What do you think is the way forward to ensure that he is finally laid to rest?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. It's a complex issue. It's unfortunate that a nobleman like Israel can remain in mortuary all these months. A former president who distinguished himself at national and SADC level as well as international level could still be lying in the mortuary after 8 months. So it's shameful for us as a country. It's shameful for us as a people. But above all, it is huge political, psychological, moral, and physical torture on Mama Esther Lungu, on our sister Tasila Lungu, on Daddy Solungu, on Chia Solungu, on Auntie Betha, and all the members of the Lungu family. It's quite unfortunate for them. It's very depressing, traumatizing to know that one of your own, your cherished flag bearer of the family, who is a former president, can be in the mortuary all these months. Meaning we have imposed mourning on them perpetually. On the way forward, I believe that it's a question the Lungu family and the government have to resolve. I was not among the mediators or negotiators of the burial discussions, so I'm not privy to many issues, and I'm not privy to the impediments as to why we're here and why he has not been buried. My prayer to God, just like many other Zambians, my wish and desire, just like many who are close to ECL, is that we should bury ECL as soon as we can and give him a dignified burial, because he's a former head of state. In ECL, there is Kaunda. In ECL, there is FDJ Chiluba. In ECL, there is Levi Manawasa. In ECL, there is Rupia Banda. In ECL, there is Michael Sata. In ECL, there's ECL himself as former president, as a person and as a citizen. So he's an embodiment of all these former presidents. We can't afford to keep him where we're keeping him today. It's shameful and it's unfortunate.
You worked with him very closely, like you've said. You were in the ECL bedroom in politically. Yes.
Yes.
You worked with him. So my thinking is that you would have an idea what he would say on certain issues. If the dead were able to speak, Doctor, do you think that ECL would actually say, let me remain in the mortuary as long as HH still wants to preside over my funeral? I'll
thank you for the question. Thank you for the question. when I look at the spirit of ECL, when I look at the heart of ECL, and where ECL was standing physically in January 2025, before he went to South Africa, we had a conversation with him. I engaged with him. 2 days before that, I had dinner with him, the two of us, and later on, Mama Esther Lungu joined us. So I know his position and where I was standing, and how he felt about his illness and the predicament government created around him to delay his treatment. I think ECL would still refuse to be buried by HH. I believe that.
He would still refuse to be
He
buried
would
by
refuse to
HH.
be buried by HH. He would refuse. If ECL was to speak for himself, ECL would refuse, expressly refuse to be buried by HH. That much I know.
He would still say, let me remain in the mortuary for as long as HH wants to bury me.
The point is, he would refuse.
He would refuse.
If he was to speak, he would refuse.
If he was to speak.
But the point is, there is no conflict or dispute that cannot be resolved. So the living must make decisions for ECL. ECL is not with us. That's why the family are a key player. They need to make decisions for him. We cannot make decisions for ECL. Some of us only worked with him. But ECL, before he became president, he was owned by family. He belonged to a family. He was a stakeholder of the family before he became a politician.
Do you think
so the family have a bigger say on this barrier than anybody, in my view, not even government. I was part of the negotiators of the Kenneth Kaunda barrier. There was an impasse as well between the government and the family. I know what it takes. And I know the position of and the role of a family in such matters. So the family is crucial in this case. He can't speak for himself. He can't decide for himself. The family have to make a decision for him.
Do you think the UPND government has acted without empathy in this situation, in resolving the dispute?
I don't think one to speak for them or to postulate in terms of their position, whether it is malicious or it is in good faith. But if I were to speak objectively, I think that they can do better.
They can do better.
They can do
better.
What
do you think the UPND can do better in this situation?
Yeah. If the mediation has failed between them and the family, they need to deploy mediators who are believed, who are respected, and who can be trusted by the family. You see, in mediation, I did conflict resolution as a political scientist and peace building as courses at different stages, at bachelor's, master's, and even PhD. In mediation, where there's a conflict, a mediator is more important than any talk. Than even the question of the discussion can even come on the table. The choice of a mediator is more crucial and important than the parties involved. Once the mediator is trusted, once the mediator is respected by both parties and approved by both parties confidently, then you have got a reason to go for mediation. From what I've seen, some of the people that have been involved in mediation, they are not trusted and respected by either one party or the other. There lies a problem. You can't resolve and secure a mediation positive outcome in such instances. So I would recommend to government, in an event that they want to succeed with a family, let them ask the family to choose mediators. But above all, government also has the right to say this and this player are toxic to this mediation table. Withdraw them. And we are recommending this. The family has also the right to do the same. This mediator and this mediator, we don't trust them. Change them. And we are recommending this. So it's a give and take in mediation. That's how it works. Even if it's a world war, it ended through mediation. First World War and Second World War. It ended through mediation because there were certain players who came on the table and could be trusted and respected by the conflicting parties or the parties that were in war. That's how it works.
Doc, one of the demands from the family is that President HH must not preside over the funeral. Is that a realistic ask from the family?
It is. It is realistic because President HH is a human being. He has feelings. President HH is not a political stone. He's somebody who can be talked to. He's somebody who can be engaged. Maybe it's a question of how the message has been delivered to him and who has delivered that message. It may be offensive, depending on how it has been delivered and who has delivered it. Or it may be convincing and compelling for him to reason and withdraw, depending on how it has been delivered and who has delivered it. So the mediator and the messengers at some point are very paramount in this case.
You believe that if HH said, all right, I'll stay away, then the
I believe that the family will agree to bring the board of HH and ECL and bury him. I believe in that because that's what even Mama Esther told me when I was in South Africa. I engaged her on this issue. And I talked to Tassila, my sister. I've talked to the other Lungu children. That's their position, that they would respect what Mama Esther is standing, where she's standing, because that was a husband to ECL. She knows the position and the heart of ECL and what ECL communicated or left behind. So I think that it's a question of trying it for the second, third, or fourth time. There is no conflict in the world that can ever be resolved or be ended through mediation. No conflict. Not even the war between Russia and Ukraine. At some point it will come to an end because there will be effective and competent mediation that will end it. So even the issue of the ECL barrier challenges, I believe that it's a question of navigating to identify the right mediators and the right channels of communication. Off
the top of your head, would you suggest one or two people that could be perceived as the correct mediators?
No, I don't. I don't know what is the heart of the Lungu family key players. It must come from them. Mama Esther, Tassila, and the other children of the ECL family and the uncles, sisters, brothers of ECL. Collectively, I think they need to sit make recommendations in terms of a list from the government. The government also has the same responsibility. Let them review certain players that have engaged in the past, withdraw them, and propose certain new players whom they think can be trusted and respected by the Lungu family. So it's an issue of trust and respect. That's how mediation works. Once you put somebody who's not trusted, you put somebody who's not respected, there's no mediation, and the conflict will not come to an end. The conflicts. Peaceful conflict settlement is dependent on the mediators. That we need to mark. So from a distance, I'm able to see that on both ends, there are challenges with the mediators in terms of trust and respect.
I hear you. How was or how is your relationship with Tassila Lungu?
We are close. Just like Mama Esther, we are close. I became the member of the Lungu family over the years. So I was not an outsider as a political advisor. I would go to Dad, sit with him. Sometimes he would call me, come for lunch. And I would be with him. The whole lunch with Mama Esther. Maybe the three of us will have a meal together. And thereafter, me and ECL will sit, the two of us, to discuss politics, sports. And I became part of the Lungu family. So I'm close to them.
What's your view with what happened in Chawama, her losing the seat?
It's terrible. It's an injustice. It's inhuman. It's unacceptable to Tassila Lungu. Whatever could have been the basis to withdraw the seat from her is unacceptable, it's inhuman, as an injustice to her. It's double betrayal to her. She lost a father, and the father is still in the mortuary. And then you go around, you grab the seat from her and throw her out of parliament. I don't think it's human. I don't think that's Christianity. Zambia is a Christian nation. There is no Christian face in such gestures. There is no Christian spirit. There is no Christian basis in such actions. It's barbaric. Politically, it's barbaric. It's inhuman. It's like they don't think for her. They don't feel for her. They don't sit in a position to know that she's mourning the father and the father is still in the mortuary. To me, they should have left her. Moreover, we'll be dissolving parliament in the next 2 months. So what was the purpose of withdrawing the seat from her and spending a lot of money on that by-election? So it's injustice done to her. It's unacceptable. It's un-Christian. It's un-Zambian. It's un-African. In all terms, we need to condemn it.
Doc, as I let you go, looking in that camera, what are you telling the Zambian people going into the 2026 election?
There is hope through Tonse Alliance. There is hope politically through BM. We have a presidential candidate who was legitimately elected through the Tonse General Congress. To us, we present Brand Munduvile as the presidential candidate going into August presidential and general elections. We present an alternative to HH. The UPND are presenting HH. Tonse Alliance, we are presenting Brian Mundubile. We believe that Brian Mundubile is a better political choice and a better option to the Zambian voters out there than President HH of the UPND. So there is hope for the Zambian people because Tonse Alliance, through BM, we are finalizing a manifesto and we are going to present it to them. And they'll be able to weigh and judge that Tonse Alliance, through BM, we have a compelling case on how BM and the Tonse government will transform Zambia to be a better country, who make Zambia to be a prosperous country, who make Zambia to be a more happier country. BM has a vision to kill and eradicate regionalism and tribalism. And he wants to go back to the counter mantra of one Zambia, one nation, where your region, your tribe doesn't count. You only count on the table as a Zambia. Where the civil service, we are winning contracts in government. They will not look at tribes or regions, or they will not look at political party affiliation. But just like ECL, just like Microsoft, every Zambian will have an equal opportunity. So BM through Tonse Alliance want to bring political healing. He wants to bring political reconciliation. He wants to bring political unity among Zambians. That is why we stand as Tonse Alliance. And BM has subscribed to that position and to those values of Tonse Alliance 100%. So there is hope before the Zambian people come August, because Tonse Alliance is going to present a presidential candidate that means well, and that will transform this country, and that will unify Zambia and make Zambia to prosper as one Zambia, one nation.
What is your confidence levels in the Electoral Commission of Zambia presiding over the next election?
It's a notorious question, I believe. Politically.
I'd like to hear your view, Doc.
Yeah. My views are very consistent. I've been on this topic for years now. That the current chairperson of the ECZ comes from the alignment with the UPND. Our brother McDonald Chipenzi has been associated with the UPND in the past. It is not news I'm making. These are discussions that have prevailed in the public and media space over months and over the years. So there is low confidence on the ECZ because of that. It is seen as a commission that has got a face of UPND, because some key players, like those I've mentioned, in the past, they have been associated with UPND. Whether there is evidence or no evidence, these are sentiments of many stakeholders, and you can't stop stakeholders from talking. What we need, and what I would want to appeal to our Madam Zelomis, our brother McDonald Chipenzi, is to prove their critics wrong, is to show that at some point you can have a history of being aligned to a political party, but once you are given a job to serve the Zambian people, your focus is to be professional and to be competent and to be objective and serve the Zambian people professionally with diligence. So the burden is on their shoulder, whether to prove their critics that they are UPND stooges in ECZ wrong, or to prove to the Zambian people that regardless of what people have said in the past, regardless of their political affiliation in the past, they are going to distinguish themselves and stand tall to deliver, administer, and give Zambians a credible and a transparent election. It's incumbent upon them. So I wouldn't want to say much. I want to throw the ball and the burden to ECZ officials who are linked to ECZ to prove themselves that they are professional and they believe in serving the Zambian people as opposed to any political organization.
How has ECZ conducted themselves in the past by-elections? especially after 2021 elections?
I think there's been an improvement, in my view, especially on two by-elections, on Petauke and Chawama, where the level of political surveillance has been very high, political monitoring and voter protection. The elections have been, in our view, to a great extent, objective and transparent, and the outcome has reflected what people voted for. And that's the reason why we won in Chawama as Tonse Alliance, and we also won in Petauke. But there are also instances where the electoral machinery has not been very effective, and the political players, like in Kawambwa, there was a thuggery and violence. But the ECZ downplayed it and declared the elections free and fair. So they started very low, but I've seen some levels of improvement, and I think we need to commend them. We need to commend them and hope they will do more.
We can pick one last call. Hi there, good morning. Hello, good morning. Do you have a caller? Okay. Doc, there's insinuations from the opposition, especially, that when you win a by-election, then then ECZ acted professionally and objective, and the election was fair. But when you lose a by-election, then ECZ downplayed some violence, they allowed rigging and all those things. Why can't we just take a lose for a lose and a win for a win?
Yeah, it's not possible. It's not possible. We need to follow facts as they are on the table. In Chawama, did you see any gunshots there? Violence? Cars being broken and stoned? Nothing. It was peaceful. Generally, it was peaceful. Generally. We didn't have bloodshed. Nobody was hospitalized. Tonse Alliance won. In Kasama, UPND won. But the background, there was bloodshed. People were beaten. There were gunshots. Some cars' screens were broken. So there is difference in terms of the political processes leading to the outcome. In Kasama, where UPND won, evidently it was ugly politically because of what I've said. In Chawama, it was peaceful. It was relatively smooth. There was no one who was shot, or there's no car broken. There was no one who was hospitalized or beaten. So where we have gone as Tonse Alliance, we see there's credibility in terms of the political practices, procedures, and atmosphere. Why UPND has won? There is chaos. There is thuggery. There is violence. And Kasama and Chawama are good case studies before us in terms of our position. Yeah.
Doc, I'd like to thank you so much for making time for us. I really appreciate it. And of course, I wish you all the best with everything you're doing as Tonse Alliance going into the general election.
Thank you so much. I'm really humbled to have been your guest today, and I'm really thankful. Really thankful.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
We've been talking to Tonse Alliance SG, Dr. Chris ZUMANI Zimba, and of course, I hope you have actually enjoyed this conversation and learned one or two. Until next week, my name is Jackson Piri. Hi, I hope you enjoyed the show. We just ended the show with Dr. Chris ZUMANI Zimba. He's Deputy Secretary General. He's the Secretary General for the Tonse Alliance, one of the factions. And also, many of you know him as the political advisor to former President Edgar Lungu. We're streaming live from Streamside Resort in Lusaka West. It's along 7070 Road. So if you're using Mungwi Road, when you get to the junction of 7070 Road, you turn to your right, and of course you find it somewhere down there. This place has got amazing size. You'll find apartments. There are two bars actually. There's a bar here for the elderly, and the swimming pool if you can see behind me. Then there's a bar for youngsters somewhere out there, children, and of course there's a boardroom where you can use for meetings. And there's this chill place here where we shoot the podcast. It's a chilled place. Whatever the weather, you can just hang out here, and of course it's really cool. So you can find some time, come and watch your games, come and chill with family, your friends, your loved ones. Plus, it's the month of loving, so you can use this place for all those beautiful venues and everything that follows. So yeah, Streamside Resort in Osaka West. That's where we shoot from. Until next week, peace.